Now we're going to look at another way of representing data, which is called Stemplot. Once again, you wouldn't want to use a Stemplot for a big data. So you want to use it for, again, for relatively small data. So what is a Stemplot? A Stemplot is the following, and I'm going to give you an example to explain what that is. So basically, to make a Stemplot, you're going to use actual data values. So one of the key feature of the dot diagram was that, in some sense, you are actually, in your diagram, you're using actual data, right? Because for each data value, you're just plotting a dot, right, on the number line. So in some sense, you're plotting the data value, actual data value. That was not the case with the bar diagram or the pie chart, right? Stemplot, you also actually use the actual data values. Now, what you're going to do is that for each data point, you are going to divide the data point into two parts. For each data point, you're going to divide the point into two parts. One will be called the stem. The other one will be called the leaf. Is that making sense? The leaf will usually be the rightmost digit of the data point, and the stem will be the remaining digits. So for example, I have the data value 16, right? So 6 will be my leaf and 1 will be the stem. Did that make sense? Every data point will be divided into two parts, stem and leaf. That's why this is sometimes called stem and leaf plot. Okay? And the leaf will be the rightmost digit usually, and the remaining digits will form the stem. Okay? So let's do this example. So here, what I have is the vitamin D in the form of 25 hydroxyvitamin D values for a sample of 20 girls aged 11 to 14. Don't ask me what's the meaning of 25 hydroxyvitamin D. Okay. So, how do we make a stem plot or a stem and leaf plot? First of all, what you're going to do is you're going to write the stems in a vertical column in increasing order. Write the stems in increasing order in a vertical column. So what are the possible stems here? Remember, since all the data points have two digits here, the rightmost digit is the leaf, so the left one will be the stem. So what are the possible stems here? What is the smallest stem that I can get? 1. Okay, what's the second largest, second smallest one? 2. Do I have 3, 4, 5? Do I have 6? No. Okay, now we are going to write down the leaf for each stem. So if you look at 1, what are the possible leaves for 1? Well, I have a 6, right? What else do I have? 6. What else? Is that it? Oh, that's it. So how about 2? For 2, I have a 3 there. 3 here. You know, let me use a red color here so that I can cross them out. So we crossed out 16, we crossed out 23, right? How about, and then you said which one? 25. So I get a 5 here. 28, 26, so I get a 6 and 8. You also want to write the leaves in increasing order. Am I missing anything else with 2? Okay, how about with 3? With 3, what's the lowest leaf I can get? I'm sorry? 33? 33, so I got a 3 there. What else? 34, somebody said? Yeah, right here, 34. 35. And do I have more than 135? Oh, right here. Okay, how about 36? Do I have anything else? 7 and 8. Let me cross them out. 7 and 8. Is that it? Okay, with 4. 4, I have a 1, right? Oh, there is a 0 right here. So 0, 1, 2, 2. Where is the other one? Oh, right here. 3, 3, somebody said. Let's locate them. 3, 3, 8. Okay, and with 5, I have just 1, right? Okay, I think I have red on all of them, so we're done. So this is the stem and leaf plot. Usually, you would also want to put a vertical line in between the leaf and the stem. Okay. So if you want to, so note that in order to make this diagram, I'm using the actual data values, right? And also, if you want to read the data values, all you have to do is pick a stem, 1, and then start putting the leaves together with the stem, right? So I have the data point 16, I have 3 with 33, 34, 35, right, and so on. Now, when you make this stem and leaf plot, notice that you automatically ordered the data points, right? So once again, each data point needs to be divided into 2 parts, stem and leaf. Leaf is the rightmost digit, stem will be the remaining digits, right? And then you make a column you write the stems in increasing order in a column, and then you write the corresponding leaves in another column in a row in increasing order, right? Is everybody okay? All right, so let's notice one thing here is that once you make this diagram, you have some idea of where the center of the data is. So notice that most of the values are with 3 and 4, right? So you know that the center of the data is right there. And also it tells you a little bit about the spread of the data, how the data is spread. Okay. Now here what I have is the vitamin D in the form of, again, 25-hydroxy vitamin D values for a sample of 20 boys aged 11 to 14. So those are the values that I have in green. And sometimes you can sometimes you'll be asked to make a back-to-back Stemplot for comparison. Okay, so you wanna compare the vitamin D values for the girls and the boys. You wanna compare them. So in that case, you wanna make a back-to-back Stemplot. What that is the following. You are going to, so I have the data for the boys and the girls here. Basically, you're going to make a column for the stem again. And you're going to write the stems in increasing order. And then you do the same thing. So for the boys, you have a column. You make a column for the leaves for the boys, and you make a column for the leaves for the girls. Is that making sense? So For the girls, we already did that, right? And whatever I have there is the same thing that I had before. And for the boys, let's just do a couple of them. So for 0, I think we have the number 8 for the boys, right? So I get 0. With 0, I get 8. For the boys, I get, for 1, I have 18 and 12. Where's 12? Yeah, 18 and, so right here I have 18 and right here I have 12. So for the stem 1, I have the leaves 2 and 8. I am not going to go through the one for 2. Let's do the one with 3. For 3, I have 31. Let's see, where is 31? 31 here, 31 here, and then I must have a 32 somewhere, 33 here, and 37 right here, right? So I got 1, 1, 2, 3, 7 as the leaves of the stem 3. Notice that for boys, I don't have anything for the stem 4 and 5. Okay? Now, from this comparison, what can you say? Can you make do you see any differences? If you look at the vitamin D values for boys and girls, what's the tendency? What's the difference if you are comparing the two? Yeah, so one of the things that you could see here is that the numbers, the vitamin D values for the boys tend to be smaller, right, than the girls, right? So for example, you don't have anything for boys for the stem 4 and 5, but you have lots of values for girls at the stem 4. Okay? All right, so one can use a back-to-back Stemplot to compare two data sets about the same thing, okay, about the same variable. Now sometimes if you have too many data values, one thing you could do is that you can split the stems. So this would be a split. So let me give you, make a back-to-back Stemplot with split stems. So split each stem into two. One with leaves from 0 to 4 and the other with leaves 5 through 9. Is that making sense? So how would you do it? So if you look at the stem 0, remember for boys, right? So let me write boys here. And let me write girls here. Okay, for boys, what do I have? Were you guys able to copy that, or did you guys copy this one? Okay, so for boys I had 8 there, right? So I didn't split the stem 0 because there was only one data point for that, and for girls there was nothing. Okay, so one is split, and so for one, notice that for boys I have 2 and 8. Remember, I'm going to split according to the size of the leaf, right? So the first time you see a 1, right, the first stem 1, you're going to write only the leaves from 0 to 4. For the second one, you're going to write the leaves from 5 through 9, right? So 0 to 4, so I write only 2 there, right? So I'm going to write a 2 here. And for the other stem one, you're going to get 6 for girls and 8 for boys. So 6 for girls. Oops. 8 for boys and 6 for girls. Is that making sense? Okay, for 2. For 2, for girls, for the first 2, I'm going to get only 3, right? So for the first 2, I'm going to get only 3. For boys, for the first 2, I'm going to get 1, 3, and 4, 4, 4. So I get 1, 3, 4, 4, 4, right? For the second stem 2, we're going to get 5, 6, 8 for girls. 5, 6, 8. So 5, 6, 8. And for boys, okay, 3.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, not 3, sorry. Yeah. 7, 7. 8, 8, 8, 9, 9. Okay, for the first 3, okay, go ahead if you have the numbers. For girls, 3, 4. For boys, 1, 1, 2, 3. Okay. The second, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, and 4. 0, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. And the other one? And for 5? Oh, 8. And for 9, or for 5?
1.
That's it, right? So this is a split stem plot. So you're basically splitting each stem into 2 stems, and then with the first you are writing the leaves from 0 to 4. With the second, you're writing the leaves from 5 through 9. Is everybody okay with that? Alright, so once again, let me do another example. So this is what I have here is 50 states, and so I want to make the data I have is percent of Hispanic population in the 50 states. So the left, if you look at the leftmost column here, you have all the states with their Hispanic population percents. And the first thing that I did is I ordered the data. So if you order the data in increasing order of the values, you get the second one. Okay, sort the data, and then once you sort the data, then you make it's easy to make the Stemplot. So then we made the Stemplot. So let's do some examples here. The stem 0, right? For the stem 0, we have the leaves 7, 7, and 9, right? But now remember, when you read this, right, you better remember that after the stem you have a decimal point, right? Before we didn't have that. You have to remember that here. For the stem 1, you get 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 7, 9, right? So once you sort the data, it's pretty easy to write down the stem plot. Okay? So again, this is how you get the stem plot. Any questions on on that. So if you look at this Stemplot, you would say that, well, typically the size of the Hispanic population will be what I have within that green circle, right? That's the typical size of the Hispanic population. But there are some unusual numbers here. For example, if you look at the very last one, the STEM is 42, right? And when you see a data point which looks unusually different from the rest of the data values, you call that an outlier. Okay, so 42.1, I'm going to call that an outlier. Again, why is that an outlier? Because it is quite different, quite unusual from the rest of the data values. Right? It doesn't fit the pattern of the data values. Is that making sense? Now, when you have a outlier, you want to ask yourself, is that because I made a mistake when I wrote down, when I typed in my data? Is that something that is that because I made a mistake when I collected data, right? Or can I explain it in some ways? Well, in this case, you can explain it because we do know that New Mexico has a large Hispanic population. Is that making sense? Couple of remarks on the Stemplots is that you do use the actual data to create the Stemplots. Stemplots are not going to be appropriate for large data sets, and you should trim the numbers before you make a Stemplot if the values have too many digits. The distribution of the data in terms of shape, center, and variability can be observed from the Stemplot, and we can also identify outliers from the Stemplot. Okay. There will be a bunch of questions on outliers. So again, what an outlier is a data value that doesn't fit the overall pattern of the data. Okay, it is unusual. It is different from the rest of the data values. It's too high or too low. Is that making sense? So when you have an outlier, it's because of most of the times it's because of you made a mistake when you wrote down the data. So it could be a typing mistake or it could be a data collection mistake, but sometimes you may be able to explain it in terms of sometimes they might be right, and then you have to find a way to explain why that's real. Okay. Any questions on what a Stemplot is? Unfortunately, okay. Oh, by the way, the TI-84 instructions for making a bar graph and a pie chart, you can find them in Moodle and use them to create them whenever you need to. Next time we will be looking at histogram. Unfortunately, maybe not for you, but for me, I couldn't finish all the materials for the first homework, which means the homework will be due now on Wednesday, okay? All right. But that's the last thing that we have to do before that. By the way, all the notes are in Moodle. You can check them if you need to.